Good afternoon and welcome to Truth Worth Living, where we seek to understand God's Word so we can live in His will. Now, last week we introduced Hebrews chapter 11 as the Faith Hall of Fame, and what we didn't do was a deep dive into the definition of faith with which he opens the chapter. Do you remember that definition? He says in Hebrews 11:1, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." Obviously, there are two elements to that faith definition, right? Faith is confidence in what we hope for, but that's not all. It's also assurance about what we do not see. Now, today what we're going to do is examine the first element of that faith definition. What does it mean when he says faith is confidence in what we hope for? Well, first, I think we need to understand hope, right? Every hope has a point of origin, all right? There are hopes that come from within us and hopes that come from without. Those hopes that come from within are innate and most are universally shared, right? So, for instance, I hope to be safe and secure. I hope to be loved, seen, and known. And I hope to be a person of significance. As Donald Miller puts it, everybody wants to be somebody fancy. Those are hopes that come from within us. We are born with those kinds of hopes. And then there are hopes that come from without. They are nurtured hopes. Okay, I lived for 30 years of my life without ever having a cell phone. And for well over 25 of those years, there were no cell phones to hope for. They didn't exist. I'm a dinosaur. So I wasn't born with a desire for a cell phone, but I think I'll die with one. As a matter of fact, I often pictured that when I'm laying on my deathbed, I'll be asking someone to find my phone. But where did the hope for a cell phone come from? Well, it came from outside me. I saw them, I heard people talking on them and talking about them, and seeing all the benefits and not having enough distraction in my life, I began to hope for a cell phone. It was a hope from without. So we can say for certain that our hopes are formed by nature, those that are innate, and by nurture, those that come from without. Now, the writer of Hebrews says that faith is confidence in the things we hope for. Is it confidence in everything we hope for? I don't think so. Some of the things that we hope for come from our deceitfully wicked hearts, right? Like, for instance, we hope that our enemies will fall flat on their faces in public. That would be a glorious thing to witness, but surely that isn't included in the definition of faith. So what is? Well, he's talking about the hopes that we have that come from God. Okay, and those hopes come from within and without, both within and without. The book of Ecclesiastes says that God put eternity in the heart of every man. That's an innate hope placed within us when we were knit together in our mother's womb. Our desires to love and be loved, to create and to matter, those all come from God. They are only satisfied in God, and they are present without the benefit of nurture. They come from within. But there are also hopes that are nurtured by God. As a matter of fact, Hebrews chapter 11 is proof that God can form our hopes through nurture. The writer sheds light on the lives of those great heroes of the faith for the purpose of inspiring and equipping us to live as they lived. When we are exposed to their exemplary way of life, then we hope to live the same kind of life. So the first element of faith, remember, contains God-given, God-formed hope. But it's not just hope. Faith is confidence in that hope. The question is, where does the confidence come from? Why do we need confidence in these hopes that are not only attainable, or why do we have confidence in these hopes that are not only attainable, but guaranteed? It's because of where those hopes come from. They are founded on the promises of God. Confidence in God's hope is made easier when we consider these heroes of the faith in Hebrews 11. By faith, those saints of old anticipated that God would keep all of his promises, and they lived their entire lives as if he had. Now, those of us with faith can live in the knowledge that he did keep those promises, and that gives us confidence in the things we hope for. And by the way, that's faith worth having, and it's certainly truth worth living. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you have a great afternoon. God bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, and give you peace. Goodbye.